Welcome to Spiritism 101, Lesson 5, Multitude of the Inhabited Planets. In previous lessons, we've seen the history of Spiritism. We've talked about the existence of God and His attributes as eternal, immutable, immaterial, unique, all-powerful, sovereignly just and good. We've also talked about the immortality of the soul and that the universe is composed of matter and intelligent beings such as us spirits, and the concept that we reincarnate. We are born, we die, we are reborn yet again and progress constantly. So we evolve at both levels, moral and intellectually. So if we take a picture at our universe and a closer look at our solar system in which we live in, this is what we see. From left to right, the Sun, Mercury, very small, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Now we know Pluto has been discarded as a planet. But astronomers change their minds, but the little planet or whatever it is there, still there. For us, what is most important is to take a closer look at every and single element of the universe and reflect on them. So what do we see with optical telescopes or other instruments? Other galaxies, not only ours, pulsars, etc. And in our Milky Way, our galaxy, where planet Earth is in, there are 100 billion stars. And if you try to count them, it would take you 3,000 years. And our galaxy is not the largest of other galaxies that we can see through our instruments. And when we take pictures like this, these are NASA's picture, we see all these little dots that seem to be so little. They are actually clusters of galaxies, meaning that they are trillions of stars, planets in our universe. Why? Why all this? Just to entertain ourselves? Why would that be? So we think that for the fact that we agree that we progress always, and reincarnation is the means that foster this progress through different experiences, and we have a vast and diverse universe, then we ask, where is the spirit supposed to reincarnate in order to accomplish its evolution? Well, would that be on Earth alone? No. It would be necessary, many places, to foster different trainings. For example, if you go to college, do you go to college in the same facility where you did your elementary school? No. Why? Because the classrooms in elementary school, they are organized, they are set up for children of a certain age. When we need to go to college, we need a different environment with a different setup, different resources. In the same way, we need different planets to lead our lives through different experiences and trainings. So in John chapter 14, verses 1 to 3, Jesus said, "In my Father's home are many mansions, and if it were not so, I would have told you." In the Spiritist view, we get in the Gospel according to Spiritism, chapter 3, item 2, the following explanation. The house of the Father is the universe. The different mansions are the different worlds which circulate in an infinite space and offer spirits who incarnate on them, dwelling places which correspond their progress. This is very important to know, because then we ask, are there many different types of planets in terms of evolution? Yes. If we have elementary school, middle school, high school, college, university, then we would say we have different types of planets. Each planet also evolves. Each planet is also an organism that evolves materially and spiritually according to the evolution of those who inhabit those planets. For example, there are 5 different types of planets. And when the spirits brought this enlightenment to us, they're just giving us a didactic manner of understanding this vastness of and the grandeur of life that pulsates everywhere in the universe. So let's revisit them as we understand that the people who are living on earth are far from being the first in their intelligence. In the Spirit's book, question 55, when Kardec asked if there are inhabited planets or globes beyond Earth, they say, oh yes, there are many. Not only ours, not only people on Earth. And the people who fancy that God has created the universe only for them, they are very egocentric. So where is our planet Earth in this regard? Our planet Earth is considered a planet of trials and reconciliations. No wonder why we go through challenges, obstacles, problems, and it shouldn't be any different. We're not saying we're going to be willing to have more problems, but when they happen, we say, oh well, it's supposed to be like this. If we have this mindset, we're going to be much less troubled by challenges and problems in this life. We only get tired about life when we expect, when our expectations are of a very peaceful, harmonious planet, and our planet Earth is not there yet. So where is it? At which level of evolution? Let's talk about the most primitive one. The spirits named it primitive worlds. Those primitive planets, those primitive globes, they are the ones that fostered the infancy of spiritual life, which means that when God created us, simple and ignorant, as spiritual intelligences, spiritual principles, way before human spirits, we had a very special home to live in and go through the experiences in the mineral, vegetable, and animal kingdom. So our planet Earth was once at that level, but not anymore. We are already in step number 2, trials and reconciliations. But we are almost done with that level. We are in a transition from being a world in which we're tested constantly. We are promoted to reconcile often with ourselves and one another, where ignorance still prevails. We don't say evil. We don't like the word evil. But when we say evil, we mean ignorance, the opposite of knowledge and goodness. So on Earth, our planet is mostly, it still prevails, ignorance still prevails in our planet, but it's changing. If we compare nowadays with caveman times, we've changed. If people kill one another nowadays, there are laws, there's jail, and we cannot do it as we please. If it pleases someone, of course. But now we are in a transition time. We are about, in a couple centuries or millennia, as people say, to transition into a world of regeneration, where Goodness prevails, although, as the spirits say, when we live in a world like that, we still go through some tests, but we have new strength by resting from the fatigue of survival. So it's a much better world. And if you compare nowadays with 100 years ago, you're already going to see that we have progressed a lot. When people tell me, Vanessa, I think we're experiencing the end of times, I say, oh yes, we are. The end of ignorance. Because now we are experiencing a much better time. We are not living the troubles of a previous time, 100 years ago. Without internet, our lives were so different. Now everything's so much faster. Now you can buy what you need from the comfort of your home. 100 years ago, it was so much harder. And 150 years ago, no cars, no light, no computers, no bathroom. We didn't have the luxury that we have nowadays. And you don't need to go that far. If you go to places such as Africa, you're going to see people still living in conditions that our planet was experiencing deep misery hundreds, thousands of years ago. We have evolved. And we still need to spread that evolvement, that progress, to other parts of our globe. And that's the mission of intelligent men on earth, to spread the good news of civilization and progress wherever possible. And then once that is conquered and we achieve the world where goodness will prevail, then we go to the next step where only goodness is going to be there. It's what they call joyful worlds. And then, if it's not enough, there is a better world than that, the celestial and divine worlds, where only pure, completely liberated from matter spirits exist. Now, if we talk about 5 different types of planets, we're talking about at least 3 out of 5 are planets that are doing very well in terms of goodness and kindness, love and compassion. So imagine now, let's reflect. In our universe, imagine how many planets are living at that level. And what does that mean? They are vibrating that love, that goodness. We vibrate. We influence one another. And when we look at the sun, for example, that star that gives us life, Kardec mentions it in a footnote of the Spirit's book. He got to know from the enlightened spirits that stars such as our sun are places where pure spirits meet. And the rays of light that give light, warmth, and life to all of us, they are the byproduct of the pure and kind, loving feelings and thoughts of all those pure spirits. It's so beautiful. So beautiful to imagine that when we progress, we give life to other people. And that's why sometimes we go to people's homes and we feel that some people, just by their smile and their kindness, they are giving us more energy, more life. That actually happens because we are co-creators. And as we evolve, we learn to wisely co-create. Create with God together with His creation, new life to others. Basically, we shouldn't misunderstand that when we think about planets that are being inhabited, that all planets who have organic life, they have the same type of life that we see on Earth. No. Sometimes the physical bodies there are more ethereal, sometimes denser. The spiritual bodies are different as well. And there are no little green men there, that's for sure. We tend, the psychologist said, to think that there are ugly people in other planets, evil people, because we are actually projecting our ignorance on others. Who said others wouldn't be smarter than we are, prettier than we are? Why not? The day humankind portrays others as beautiful and peaceful, then we are doing much better. So much better that we would see that in other planets we are going to have inhabitant spirits who are like us spirits, but using different tools and resources among, the resources that they have there. And this is how we understand that the multitude of planets that exist in the universe, they serve the purpose of fostering progress in our lives. Let us reflect on this, meditate on this, and allow this wisdom to take place in our lives when we feel alone and abandoned. Let us look up in the sky and thank God for the rays of light that come from the sun, shining brightly and bringing us warmth and life, with the beautiful thoughts of pure and kind spirits who always take care of us.